Welcome to another in the series, The Soup and the Chat. Welcome to another in the series, Soup and the Chat. I'm your host, LELEITH Tomlinson, and believe it or not, we are in the month of February. Can you believe it? Yes, the days just went by so quickly. So we are just here today just to be with you again in your homes as you get your cup of coffee or whatever your tea is. We are just so excited to be able to share with you this afternoon. Well, today I have a very, very good friend of mine and a very, very interesting guest. And I'm sure that at the end of the program, you'll also agree with me. With me today is my good friend, Miss Donna Hunter. Wow, she wears many hats, right? And I'm so inspired by her because she's a manager in her job. But more importantly, she is also a life coach, and that's a career or a skill that's becoming very trending. And I'm sure our viewers would want to know more about who exactly is a life coach. She's a plant enthusiast. I will going to talk a little bit about that. And I'll give her a chance as well just to say who Donna is. So I just want to say welcome to the set of Soup and Chat, Donna. It has been a long time in coming, but you're here. Yes. So welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Tomlinson. So Donna is, when I think of, I've been asked that a lot. And so the only thing I can start out with initially is that Donna is life.
Wow.
Yes, Donna is life. I believe that all of our life experiences come from how we look on life.
Perspective.
And so I'm a lover of all things positive, and of course plants, where I ground myself and I teach persons to heal through nature. I'm also a writer, also an adjunct facilitator, as you know. And I started my life coaching journey when I realized that I had the gift of helping people to move past their limited beliefs and start living a fulfilling life.
Wow. Isn't that so powerful? Because how did you sense that need? Because we have so many people. You know, one of the things that they always say that it's amazing that one of the quietest places, which is the graveyard, is one of the places that is filled with so much potential. And January, every new year, people make these grand I don't want to say New Year's resolution, but I start to call them commitments now, because a resolution sometimes does sound like an utterance, but when you commit to something, I find probably it's more something that you try to feel. But talk to us, why is this need for a life coach?
All right, so a life coach is not someone who gives you the answers you seek, but rather help you to process not only your thoughts, but review actions that you have taken that not have yielded success. And so part of what I do with my clients is that I walk them through either a 90-day program or a 120-day program, because most of what we repetitively do is that we form certain habits that then result in us limiting our ability to really see the connection between where we are and where we are going. And so part of what I do as one of the initial exercises is, today is your birthday. It's your 95th birthday. Happy birthday. Let us write a letter at 95 to your younger self and tell me all the amazing things that you would have experienced, all the careers that you would have had, places you would have visited, people you would have met. What will you be saying at age 95?
Wow.
And I find that it's either A, persons are not able to look into their futuristic self and write a letter to themselves now because of those limited beliefs. And for those persons who can write a letter to themselves, they are able now to start the footprint of putting things in place in terms of a plan. What that plan looks like, it's very unique to each person, but it also has to do with your own perspective on life, how you look at things.
This is so powerful because, I mean, a lot of people, I find that it's not because they don't have the skills, it's not because they don't have the ability, it's not because they didn't go to good school, as we say in Jamaica, but it's more that, boy, I wish I had that person to push me. And I just want you, I like the approach. So if you could just go back over for some of our viewers. So you take a client and you say to a client, where do you see yourself at 95? No, we're not saying the person is going to live to 95,
No, but
it's a form of projecting to say, okay, if I could kind of envisage where I would be, and then as the coach, you kind of help the person, okay, so where you are in relation to that goal. So take us from after they've envisioned where they would want to be. What do you usually do next?
all right. So I have designed my own workbooks in which I use. And part of that workbook is unlearning certain habits, attitudes that we have towards living. We've often heard persons speak on there's 24 hours in the day, and there are some of us who are doing 48 hours each day.
Right.
And there are others who are just going mentally through each day.
And then they say, oh, 3 hours gone.
3 hours gone. The truth is that you have to know where your time is going. So when we have locked into where you want to be, the futuristic self, 65, 75, maybe just 10 years down the road, 5 years down the road, we now have to look on how do you approach each day? What is it you're doing? And how does it align to your futuristic self?
Okay.
Because if it doesn't align to where you want to grow, flow, then it means that you are diverting your energy and your attention from where you say, not me, where you say you want to be. And so part of the workbooks that I have, it's more about accountability. Many of us, we know exactly what we need to do.
But we just don't do it.
Unfortunately, we lean to others for support, which is not wrong, you know. It's not wrong because we want others to help push us and propel us along. But we have to also understand that other people are going on their own journey.
Right.
They are.
And sometimes in them trying to pursue their own goals, your goal might get shafted.
Yes.
Which is why we do appreciate persons like you who have basically developed and have this passion and as a necessary skill sets as well to be able to take people from being all over the place to say, listen, you know, if you want to get to this place, this is what you have to do. You haven't told us some of your success stories.
All right. So let me tell you about this particular young lady. She's a mom of 3. And so she has always tried to advance herself educationally. She have done the groundwork, didn't have a great starting, but she did the groundwork, the foundation, went back to school, very challenging. There were several times she wanted to stop, didn't stop, but she completed her master's degree. But she thought that completing the master's degree, life will now flood her space with abundance and everything amazing is going to happen. The truth is that that's not how it works. Faith without works, they say, is what?
Very dead.
It's dead. And so while you put in the work academically, there are certain innate skill sets that we are born with. And part of you accomplishing, reaching a level of abundance is also putting all of that together as a package. So when she came to me and I asked her, what are some of your hobbies? And she's like, boy, you know, I listen to music sometimes, but what are some of the other skill sets? Because here you are telling me that this is the type of job now you want to go after. These are the positions you want to show up for, and you want to be counted in the numbers of those persons who have a master's degree. But what are the other skill sets that are necessary? Leadership, right? The ability to bring teams together, right? What are the other skill sets that you have garnered over the years while you're working on your educational pursuits that make you the person for this job? And when we peel it back, she didn't have some of those skill sets. So she was going for interviews, but she wasn't able to land those jobs.
So and she had the raw material.
She had the raw material. She had on paper, man. Theoretically, she had the paper. But all the other skill sets were not there. And so as part of the program, we quickly identified what we need to work on. And so when we work on those skills, she did short courses. I also paired her with another mentor, someone who is an executive, who was able to take her on once a week or whenever to give her some coaching. and bring her up to that level, to the point that when she went for a job after 3 months, she got an interview. She was able to sit in that interview on the panel. And when she came back, she's like, boy, Donna, wow, I felt the difference.
Yeah.
I felt the difference. Because even for some areas that she didn't yet cover, she was able to speak quite eloquently. I'm working towards it. When I tell people about giving back, volunteering, it's not just about being satisfied, feeling like, yeah, I'm doing something great. It actually teaches you something. Because part of those environments that you thrive in, volunteerism, it's teaching you certain skill sets about teamwork, coming together, being patient, being humble, doing grace, listening. Listening.
So what we find is that, and I think that is why for a lot of people, and when it comes to coaching, it doesn't matter your age.
No, it doesn't.
Right, because
I have young clients.
Yeah, right. For some persons, as I was explaining to somebody today, that you have persons who are late bloomers, right? So it's like, I remember this guy. We were in a similar session yesterday, and I was sharing about a guy I knew. Well, I met him through my job, and he was saying to me that he wants to just start to study. So I was like, why? And because I was looking at the age, and I was just intrigued anyway. And he said something to me that I've really never heard before. He said to me, I am a teenage dad.
Wow.
Yes, I've never heard. I've heard teenage moms, but I've never heard teenage dad.
Yes.
So when he said that to me, he said he was a teenage dad, and he had invested all of his money, all of his resources, as time has progressed, into his children, making sure that they had a firm foundation. But no, he wanted to invest in himself. And so I think like somebody like that is somebody who would be an excellent client, because sometimes depending on when you start your journey, you might get discouraged, but how do you keep going? What you find is one of the major challenges to people achieving their goals. What are some of the major obstacles to goal attainment?
As I say, life is always lifing. And that's a simple answer. That's a simple answer.
Life is always lifing.
And the sooner you learn to accept that life will always be lifing, because you will never have a life that comes without challenges. I tell people, even rich people have challenges.
You know, I was saying rich people are so relative.
You understand?
Everybody will say, oh, because they're rich, and we're not aware that those people have their own sets of challenges,
sets of problems. Life is always lifing. And so what I would say to persons is that the question you need to ask yourself, when you get up in the mornings, how do you feel about the life you're living? Do you feel fulfilled? Do you feel that you have made the effort to not just make a difference in your life, but have you considered your legacy? Your children, your children. And so I find that when you walk it back from there and let them see the bigger picture, okay, it's about you and what is it you want to achieve. But then the importance, the fact that we know we're not here for a long time, right? We're going to be here for a temporary time.
Yes.
And we can talk about, the Bible and what happens after. But I can speak about us being here now while you're alive. When you start looking at that, you realize that ever so often these dreams, these passions, what is my purpose? Why am I here? I am definitely here to not just work and go to bed.
Right.
And to feel as if I'm lacking something. I am here, even in the space that you are now. Could be a 1-bedroom, zinc roof. I have seen people these days, even on the internet, living in some tattered home, and it fills me with joy that they're showing that this is where I live, this is what I do. I have to go to the river, get the wood, set the fire, and I'm cooking, and I'm living a fulfilling life. And it's showing persons that it's not about owning a big house. It's your perspective, but how do you feel when you get up in the mornings?
Right.
And so if you feel like there is something innately that you need to do,
get up and do it.
Get up and get it done.
And do it.
There's always a way, because life is always going to be lifing. It's not where you start.
It's how you finish.
It's how you finish.
Right.
And most importantly, is it going to be day one? Because day one can be any day. We tend to put it with
again.
Day one can be any day. Day one is today.
Right. So there are many people who are still on their couch. You're still sitting down. You're still upset over the exam you never passed. You're still upset over the fact that your parent never sent you to the school you want, or didn't. Whatever it is that is your obstacle, you can create your new tomorrow by starting your day one today. Very important, because you see, the race is not for the swift, nor the battle for the strong, but for those who will get up and say, listen, man, enough is enough. I refuse to be relegated, to stay in my silo. I'm going to take up myself. If I'm like Humpty Dumpty, you know what I'm saying? Jump on the wall and crush it, because as you said, life is always life. It's always something. It's always somebody over there, or something over there, or something happening. And those are the realities that we have to tell people, that things are always going to happen.
True.
But you are a survivor, and survivors never quit. They always sit in. Donna, I know you're very big on this. Talk to us a little bit about how important networking is, because I know you're very big on it, right?
Wonderful.
Even as you try to pursue goals and so on.
All right. So let me walk it back to your social space. Your immediate social space now, because you mentioned about someone sitting on their couch, right? So I want to talk to them about the importance of those they have immediately around them, and then I can just walk it into how do you go out there and start networking. Your immediate circle dictates how far you go in life. I learned that around 28 going 30.
That is so good. I heard somebody said, if you're in a crowd and you're the brightest one, you need to change your crowd.
Yes. Your immediate circle. And it's not about whether or not those persons have achieved a significant, goals. And it is about how do they stir the energy of movement when you connect. Because energy connects. Energy pulls. Energy gives momentum and drive.
Right.
Apart from that, your immediate space should also provide that safety net, whereas you feel uncertain, you feel doubtful, you question yourself, and they should be the ones in that space saying, no, this is where I see you going. When I look at you, this is where you are going to be next couple of years. How can I help you get to that step? Saying this to say that I do have a few persons in my circle. The moment I met them, a mutual friend we met at the in the hills coffee festival.
Right.
From day one, he called me Dr. Hunter. Ever so often, hi Dr. Hunter. A few other friends call me Dr. Hunter, and I'm like, but I've never really shared with these persons that I plan to go after my doctorate. But guess what? Innately, I've always written it down that I'm going to go after my doctorate. And so each time I note when we connect and that comes across, it is a reminder
of that
goal where I'm going. So your immediate circle is very important. And if in your immediate circle, there's not one person in there you aspire to walk in their footprints or to get some inspiration or motivation from, you're in the wrong circle.
That's so important, because
wrong circle.
A lot of times people don't understand why you move from certain groups, because you actually feel drained emotionally, mentally, and physically, because people are always pulling from you, whatever it is that you do. Even if you have staff, because I have staff, and some of them are younger than myself, but they give to me, they enlighten me on what's new, what's hip, what's young, even though I'm young too, both of us are, right? But they keep us in the loop, so there's always knowledge sharing. And I think that's so important, and that's something that we want to say to everybody. Who is in your immediate circle? What is fueling you? Who is saying to you, how when you talk about your dreams to your friends, what are they saying? Are they saying you need to quit? Or they're saying to you, listen, man,
press on.
Press on.
Press on.
Because sometimes, you're just another press away.
Yes, another click away.
Another click away from something.
Another click away.
And I think it's so important that we surround ourselves with, you said something and I didn't even realize it. When I was very young, right? I have a younger brother. My two sisters are older than me. And they have done well for themselves. But I remember so clearly that, because my brother and I were younger in age, we went to the same high school. And I remember writing, now that you have said it, I remember writing on the door of our little room. We never have enough things, right? Right. I remember so clearly writing on the door of the room that we shared. We had separate beds, but I had a room for that we shared. And I wrote I wrote on our door, Dr. LELEITH and Keely
Yes,
Donald.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And today, my brother is a professor at Richmond University, and here I am.
Yes.
So again, punctuating that life and death is in the power of the tongue.
Yes.
How important, Donna, is it to write down dreams? Or we just can't think about it in our head? How important is writing them down? I have a friend, and every day I give her credit for this. My friend Pauline Powell. She taught me the whole idea of the vision board.
Yes,
we talked about it last week. But talk to us about how important it is to make the vision clear, like Abako says. So go ahead.
All right. So if you cannot envision yourself living the life, the abundance that you say you want, then it means that a goal without a plan is just a wish. Just a wish. And so apart from speaking it and putting the energy out there, you have to keep it within your view. And so even for me as a life coach, at the end of the year, so I've stopped talking about New Year's resolution years ago.
Right.
Because for me, once it is appointed, once it is written, it's going to happen.
Right.
Because the good Lord tell you that once him write it down, that Donna M. Hunter will one day become Dr. Donna M. Hunter, it's going to happen.
Right.
And for me to make sure I don't lose sight of that vision, because life is always lifing. You have to have it.
Life is always life.
You have to have it somewhere where you keep reminding yourself as to the why. Because when life happens, you start questioning, hey, after me, I'm taking nobody. Why me I push for that? Just easy right in this space. When you keep looking on that which you have written, it stirs up something within you. It helps to keep you accountable. Because before you can hold others, accountable, you have to hold yourself.
Right.
For me, I have a WhatsApp group with myself. It sounds weird, but I do have a WhatsApp group with myself. And my manifestations are listed. One, this is what I am going to be working on in 2025. One, and I have pictures. Vision board is great. But the thing with vision board for me, I want this big thing on my wall in my room, and I can look at it every day I get up. Great, I have that. But when I'm on the go and life is lifing,
right? Oh, you have something more.
I just go in that manifestation chat, and I'm looking back on what it is that I'm manifesting, and I'm reminded not only of what I'm manifesting, the things that I said I'm going to complete for the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter, and it helps me to make sure I check in. This morning on my TikTok, I posted 5 things to make sure that you remain consistent as you go through the year. The first thing is that you really and truly, if you don't believe none of what you write down, if you don't believe that it's appointed and it is already given
to you.
I said to a girlfriend of mine just 2 weeks ago, out the blue, I called her checking on her, and she was saying, hey D, what's up? And she said, boy, X, Y, and Z. I said, listen to me now. Listen to me. You see, for this year, I want you to walk in rooms. Don't ask if that chair is yours. Don't ask if I am supposed to stand over there or sit over there. Walk into rooms and claim your space. Take your space.
You have to know that you belong.
Take your space.
That's what I said.
Because what happens to many of us, you see, that's something when you self-doubt. This is something where say lack of confidence. You know you're supposed to be in the room, but you're like, boy, if you ain't skiffy.
Yeah.
Once it's appointed, it's already given.
Wow.
Take up space.
So powerful, Donna. We just wish that we had more persons that were so nurturing and helping persons to come up to the next level. Because the issue of self-doubt, to get to self-actualization, you have to hurdle over that self-doubt. What are some of the things that people tell themselves why they don't achieve their goals?
It's not for me.
Wow.
I am not good enough. Nobody will accept me at that level.
Right.
Let me stay here where it's safe.
And I just thought about this, Donna. Something that came in my mind. That complacency, procrastination is a breeding ground for complacency.
Oh, yes, it is.
We just always say, oh, I'm not going to do this today. And then we just become complacent. And then before we know it, our dreams are just deferred or shattered, and a lot of people out there, I really believe in people. That's, that's kind of like my big thing. I believe in people because somebody believed in me.
Yes.
And so because of that, I'm always saying to people, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. You talked about some earlier on, we're about to wrap up, but I just want you to just emphasize, Donna, how important it is to find purpose. To find purpose and to be able to identify that, listen, if you feel like you're scrambling, you can get help.
So finding purpose is locking into those intrinsic qualities that for most persons, they have never really sat in a room or in a space and really write down, what are some of the things I am great at? Because we tend to rely on others to tell us, Donna, you are an excellent speaker. You speak eloquently. Donna, you are gorgeous. Donna, I don't know how you do it, but you're so multifaceted. You need to sit in a space and identify your own strengths, your weaknesses. What are the opportunities that are out there that you may not even have capitalized on? Because everything really starts with self.
Right.
Because Dr. T, you could have tell me something nice 10 years. And if I don't see it for myself,
right.
I will never believe it.
And I think I
will never believe it.
Even as we look at parenting to Donna, that it's so important from very early for parents to start affirming their children, so that they too can come to a place where they can start affirming themselves. Because when they get to a certain stage, anybody tell them anything, they almost think that, okay, here is the gospel according to so and so, and then they get off track. But I think it's so important from very early for parents to affirm children and let them know that they can.
Children have to be encouraged to not just be themselves, but to process their emotions as well. Children need activities. Like for my two little ones, the wrong and strong, coming to you, right? One is always wrong and the other is very strong. I make sure that within the 24 hours, on the weekends, I complete some activities with them. And it's not just about them just passing time. It teaches them certain skill sets.
Okay.
Because again, it comes back to their strengths and your weaknesses. And it's not about them going to school and they're learning all of these things. My 4-year-old could read from he was 2.5 going 3. Could read fluently. How did he get to do that? Because I developed not something on book, that you have to expose children to different things. Going on field trips, going to do effect on cause kind of activities. Right.
So you're stimulating
their creativity. And from that, they will tell you, Mommy, I love this. I believe I am good at that. Mommy, I don't think I'm good at that, but can you help me? Wow. Can you help me? And so it's not about me just telling them you're amazing, Ami, you're a great AJ. It's for them to go on a journey,
an experience
at 5 and 4 of self-discovery. Wow. And this journey will continue into adulthood. That's a way.
This was such a great program. Donna, you definitely have to come back, because we don't even get to the whole matter of the therapeutic nature of grounding, right?
Yes, with nature.
And the healing properties that has. So you definitely have to come back to us and talk to us about it. It was such a pleasure having you here on Sip and Chat, just talking to our viewers, and just to say to everyone, get up. Because we didn't even get to talk a little bit about next program. We talk about it definitely, about the importance of understanding what are the skills that are in demand, and what are the skills that are really going dormant. So once again, on behalf of the team here at Sip and Chat, I want to say a big thank you to everyone who joined us today. Thank you so much, Donna. Wow, multifaceted, just right on top of what is happening here in our island and in our world. So thank you so much for coming in. Until next time, we continue to sip and chat.